What is going on, everybody? Welcome to the Lore Reloaded. I am your host, James, part of the Lore Reloaded, your lore master tonight. Hope everybody is doing well. We about to get this party started, but if you're watching this video on demand, you know exactly how this is about to work. I'm going to tell you about a couple of things, give you a couple of instructions to do. Definitely go to twitter.com/Lore Reloaded. Check me out there. Should anything happen to this channel or should any special events be going on, that's where you're going to find it out. As well as if you like playing games and hanging out, come to twitch.tv/Lore Reloaded. More likely than not, I'm usually over there just having fun and hanging out at night. It's a lot of fun. Very laid back. Also, something really cool is at the end of this video, you guys, or this live stream, if you're watching video on demand, it's already been done, check out my community tab, because I'm going to be putting something up where I want you guys to give me some ideas of what kind of lore to get into. So not July, but starting in August, I'm going to dedicate another series that you guys will have voted on. So starting in August, every week, there'll be one series that will be community voted on that'll happen on Tuesdays. So definitely stay watching for that. With that out of the way, let's talk to a couple of people. Of course, we got David Deister here, Josh Street, the crazy Ferelden. It is not a party without Captain George. Captain George is going to be live Wednesday with me, talking about the enslavement of clones in Star Wars, I believe. Micah Leith, always here. Dark Kilhoon, first of the Grey Sith. We have Josh Street, No Stripe 361. What's going on, buddy? What is going on? Morpheus X, first time made it to a live stream. Everybody, we can get started. Morpheus X is here. So let's just go ahead and break it down and start this discussion. Ultimately, what this discussion is about, at least for me, and if you guys have been here for any amount of time, you'll know that we've already done this before, but I thought it was worth talking about again, because the last time I did it, I think I had less than 10,000 subscribers. So I think it's a good conversation to have. And Mr. Captain 93 brought it up, and it's a good thing to discuss. Taco Tuesdays will now be on Fridays, but still called Taco Tuesdays. So thanks for reminding me of that. Will you ever do a Hero Factory lore? Found memories growing up. Not sure what that is. I'll look into it. Maybe. All right. So let's talk about a couple of things when it comes to Section 31, putting them on trial and what you guys think. Because one thing I do like about Section 31 is that they got a live chat. Thanks, Darth Kilhoon, first of the Grey Sith. Thank you so much. Stuff like that does ensure that this channel continues to go. Do you remember the first episode of Deep Space Nine? Did you cringe at Sisko's dialogue? And you should do some Star Wars Legends lore. Interesting you should say that. I'm teaming up with Eckhart's Ladder, and they will be doing some stuff there. So I think you'll actually enjoy that. Which dialogue are you specifically talking about? Are you talking about dialogue overall, or you're talking about a specific speech? So let me know, Darth Kilhoon, when it comes to the dialogue, and I can address that. I'm just not sure if you mean overall or just the discussion. What's going on, Samuel Simmer? What's up with you? But looking back at Section 31, the interesting thing about Section 31, I think, is that you're presented with both ideals to a degree. Now, it is biased. I think there is kind of a leaning towards pro-Section 31. But I do think that the writers attempted to create two different arguments. The argument that exists within Bashir, who basically says, you know, this is not the Federation. This is not the Starfleet. This is not the Starfleet ideal. This is not what we're supposed to do. And of course, you made the heroes be anti-Section 31. For the most part. Odo was kind of on the fence, I think. But for the most part, you made it seem like Section 31 was negative. However, when you look at the situation, it is quite clear, almost to 100% degree, that they are necessary and needed. And so the question becomes, Is Section 31 necessary, or should they be snuffed out like Bashir wanted them to be snuffed out? And if they're necessary, should they be put on trial for the things they've done? This is kind of a situation where, are these types of things necessary in the real world? Like, are they necessary when it comes to the United States or Russia or things like that, right? And I'm curious to know what your guys' thoughts are, and that's where we can go from there. When it comes to talking about Cisco, his dialogue within on the ship, a lot of season 1, the dialogue is pretty cringeworthy, I would agree. I also think that Avery Brooks was still coming into his own, trying to figure out who Cisco is going to be. So I would agree that he kind of, he acted versus actually portraying the Cisco character, because he's still trying to figure out who he is. Though, I will say when he goes off on Picard, the tension between him and Picard was palpable and was realistic and was probably the best part of that episode, in my opinion. But what are your guys' thoughts when it comes to this? I don't like Section 31, but without them, the dream of the Federation couldn't survive. Is there any evidence to suggest that John Frederick, the leader of Terra Prime, and Captain Marcus are related? Not to my knowledge. That seems out of left field. I don't think so. Section 31 is evil, but necessary. However, they should be a last resort group, only used when you can't protect yourself with legal means. Section 31, like the CIA, is a necessary evil for the protection of their respective state. And of course, Captain George dropping the link out there like the good bot that he is. But so if we're going to sit there and say that it's necessary, then I guess the question should be, how far are they allowed to go? Should Section 31 be allowed to have the Genesis Project? Should they be allowed to kill whomever they want if they can justify it? And whom do they have to justify it to? Rick Van Bobersum, hey man, just found the stream going but didn't get an alert. I will send that to Twitter. If you haven't already, though, hit subscribe and hit that bell button. Andrew Close is here, everybody. I was really worried about that, but thank God Andrew Close has made it, so we can relax on that. Who watches the Watchers, I guess, is kind of the question here. And when should they be stopped? When should they be put on jail? Is there anything Section 31 can do that is too far for the organization? Section 31 is totally necessary. There's literally no reason to put them on trial. If Section 31 wasn't there, who protects the UFP from people who don't have the UFP's morals? Section 31 is the closed fist of the Federation, just like Starfleet is the open hand. Hey everyone, can't stay long, only on break. What's up, Laura Actual? Check it out on the way back, and I'm going to be doing some morning stuff, so hopefully you'll get to come and hang out then. But thanks for hanging out on the break, buddy. No Stripe 361. I think they should only be able to do things if there is no other option and should do as little as possible. There should be some oversight to make sure they don't go overboard. Kind of like committing genocide of an entire species. But I mean, again, let me ask you this. Okay, so most people are saying, hey, Section 31 should exist. They have to do these things. Some people are saying a little bit of oversight. Some people are saying no oversight. How do you guys feel about this when it comes to Gene Roddenberry's ideals? What is this dishonoring it? Is it the next evolution to it? Are Gene Roddenberry's ideals even worth anything when it comes to that respect? What are your thoughts? I think Section 31 should be punished by being forced to subscribe to Fancy Teeth. That would be a huge punishment. I would love to see Section 31 Commandos go toe-to-toe with Tal Shiar or Romulans. That'd be very interesting. Mike, surly gentleman Walton. Yes to all and no one. What justification is needed when the protection of billions of people are at stake? And then Ricky Schnerstein. As far as canon tells us, we really don't know much about them. We kind of see some things, but they are by far the most secure and secret sect of Star Trek. You know, that is true, though there is some intriguing information and some things we can infer from what's been said, especially given how expansive they are. We know they go back as far as the original series. We know that they've had a hand in a lot of major events. So there's a lot we can infer and a lot that is given to us, right? Michael Leith, Anti-Trekker has been dissing your First Contact breakdown in the comment sections on his latest videos. Fun fact, Anti-Trekker got a little bit of his momentum by creating 2 different videos attacking me. So that's not uncommon. Also, if you weren't on his live stream today, I actually went on his live stream and was able to prove a couple of his theories that he had wrong. But yeah, me and him criticize each other all the time, so I'm not necessarily all that worried about it. He's welcome to his opinion, and if I'm wrong and he makes a good point, then I'm wrong. Just what it is. Anti-Trekkers, good people. I feel that they should only be able to go after people of actual threats. Civilian casualties should be frowned upon. So yeah, here's an interesting thing, and I might be wrong on this, but I believe, and if I'm wrong, it's fine. I still think that they should do this, but if I'm correct, the CIA is not allowed to go after United States citizens. That's specifically the purview of the FBI. I think Section 31 should be held to a similar standard. Now, we know they're not. We know that they go after whomever they think is a threat to the Federation, to Starfleet. But I do think that there is an intriguing argument to be made that they can do what they want, but it has to be outside of civilian use. That Starfleet intelligence should be handling counterintelligence. Don Juan says donate $1 to Anti-Trekker and watch him flush lore. Hey, Don Juan, you know, you could tell them to donate $1 to me and create something where I flush Anti-Trekker. Or, I mean, you can come onto my streams and pimp out somebody else. I mean, that's fine. That's not going to get me upset or anything. Good sir. Good sir. The Prime Directive doesn't apply to the Founders since they have the Omega particle. What? Okay. In the Kelvin timeline, Section 31 had full fleets with cloaking, highly advanced vessels. I don't know if the vessels had cloaking. Now, here's an interesting thing. You know, a lot of people get on to J.J. Abrams in the J.J. verse. I completely disagree. I love some of the things when it comes to J.J. Abrams and Star Trek. He actually thinks and expands the lore in ways that make sense. So in the J.J. verse, now there are things he gets wrong. Okay, you guys are about to hit me with a ton of inconsistencies in continuity. I get it. But there are some things he gets wrong. But let me say this. With Section 31, consider. Section 31 is an organization that's underground. And because of how well the Federation and Starfleet does, they generally stay pretty small. Welcome to JKL Bub, becoming a lore master. They stay pretty small, right? But in the JJ verse, when you have this massive event with this advanced ship just destroying Vulcan and everything, Section 31 blows up, like they did in Deep Space Nine. And so it's really intriguing and very interesting and very well written that they have all these advancements, that they have ships. I don't know that they have cloaking. I don't know that they have fleets, but they definitely have like the main admiral in their pocket. And that is very intriguing to me. Even here, another thing. Section 31 in the Prime universe is like the super secret organization that nobody ever talks about. In JJ verse, because of what's happened, it's out in the open. They're like, hey, Section 31, deep black ops, was destroyed. We got to take care of this. And no one questions it in the JJ verse after this huge event. And that seems realistic to me. I mean, I know I'm kind of getting off kilter here and off topic. But I like that. I think it's very interesting. Let's see. Obsidian Order, Tal Shiar, Section 31, all the same. I wouldn't trust any one of them. I would just be the Bajoran militia. I'll bet you the Bajorans have their own, or would have their own eventually. Let's see. Section 31 should have an oversight committee comprised of randomly selected Starfleet personnel and citizen members. How would you do that and keep Starfleet keep Section 31 secret? Oh, looks like we are being joined by my editor. But how would you exactly do that and keep them secret? You know, not that they necessarily are going to stay a secret overall, but how would you go about that? Sterling Clifton, by law, hey, you don't have to do that if you don't want to with that tail, buddy. By law, CIA prohibited from doing law enforcement, military, or covert ops within the U.S. Agreed. No Stripe, I think you said this before. It's in the comics. Section 31 is publicly known and a major player in the Kelvin timeline. Post Into Darkness movie, they actually work on overthrowing enemy governments. Huh. I mean, the comic books, I don't know how canon they are with the Kelvin timeline, but that's really intriguing. Does Section 31 obey the Temporal Prime Directive? And what are your thoughts on the Temporal Prime Directive? I need to do a video about that. I said I was going to, and I don't think I ever got around to it. That's one thing I definitively need to get into. But the Temporal Prime Directive, I don't think that they would care or would follow it. And I do think that whatever organization Daniels is a part of, they've infiltrated to keep human and Starfleet interests from staying that way. I don't think Starfleet or the Federation exists in the 31st century. We have evidence to believe they don't. But I do think that Section 31, before Starfleet and the Federation stopped existing, would have infiltrated. And some people have theorized that Daniels is actually part of Section 31, which is interesting. Now, on to the Prime Directive itself. The Prime Directive, in theory, has always existed. That has been retconned, and I think it was done by Voyager. It may have been into TNG, where the Prime Directive started existing. But the Temporal Prime Directive, I am not against. And because they don't treat it as gospel, as far as I can remember, it does make some sense. James Kamaka becoming a lore master. Welcome, buddy. It makes a little bit of sense to me. Because when you consider any changes to the timeline with the butterfly effect, I think that you should have the general order that Starfleet officers are not to do anything that would impact the timeline. But going on, additionally, should actively attempt to stop it, which is in the Temporal Prime Directive. Ultimately, I think that as long as it's looked at pragmatically, that it should be a thing. But I mean, I'm open to y'all's opinions on it. I don't know. I'm open to what you guys think. Do you think Section 31 would experiment further? Red Star 1042, welcome to becoming a lore master, buddy. Do you think Section 31 would experiment further with genetic augmentation eugenics to replace recruiting efforts? I don't think they would do it to replace recruiting efforts. I do think that they would do it to continue to gain an edge. And so, Lore Actual, I don't remember Daniels ever being shown with a delta. So let me say this in the most polite way that I can, man. You can go to hell, Lore Actual. Oh, man. Any type of symbol or delta is just stupid. Discovery sucks. Anyway. Yeah, again, as long as it's pragmatic, I don't have an issue with it. I like to think that Daniels was from a future branch of Section 31, but a more evolved version of it, where humanity's past is in danger, and they had to either change or die.
All it takes is one bad day. That's how far the world is from where I am. just one bad day.
David Deister,
All
again,
it takes
thank you
is
so
one
much.
bad
Oh,
day. That's how far the world is from where I am. Just one bad day.
don't know why that repeated. David Deister, thank you so much. As you guys know, becoming lore hero of the night for right now. This is how I keep food on the table. Thank you guys. If the original series had a 4th season, they should have a Section 31 episode of Arc. The original season, Section 31, equals the Illuminate. I would be interested, had they continued to exist, to see where they went with that. I would agree. I could see them doing Section 31. Yeah, bad day clips for everyone. Back to work I go. See you, Lore Actual. Thanks for coming, buddy. What happened to the Federation in the 31st century? Kirk B, we don't know. Based on Daniel's dialogue, we know that it's something that is similar to Starfleet and the Federation. Additionally, we know that he comes from Earth, and that on Earth there are memorials to Starfleet and the Federation. However, his dialogue leads me to believe that it's gone, because what happens is that when he's talking with Archer, Archer says, well, do you come from this Federation? Do you come from the Starfleet? And Daniel says, I come from a version
Data,
of it.
I am not talking about parenting. I am talking about the extraordinary consequences of creating a new life.
Does that not describe becoming a parent, sir?
I love that one. That one is so true. It is apt. Darth Calhoun, First of the Grey Sith. I'd probably form a militia to fight Section 31. Section 31 is willing to do whatever they want. They're willing to do whatever it takes to win. How would you fight something like that? How would you become what you hate? How would you do that? In order to defeat Section 31, you would have to be willing to go further than what Section 31 would do. Sterling Clifton says Section 31 is technically a part of the United Earth government. UFP Starfleet would have no say because member worlds are still sovereign when it comes to their own government structure. Section 31 is technically a part of the United Earth's government. I would say that they became officially a part of the UFP and Starfleet, covering all of it when we had Starfleet, when we had the Federation formed. But originally in United Earth, based there, I'd say, UFP Starfleet would have no say because member worlds are still sovereign. I disagree. Darth Vader in the house. Hey, Darth Vader. Before, I meant to say this. I don't know if you heard me. As you guys know, I've had some issues, some things I've had to deal with. So I'm sorry if I came off like I was angry or mad or whatever. I don't care. I like Anti-Trekker and I like the back and forth and jibing we do. So I apologize in that instance because it seemed like you thought that you'd hurt my feelings and you hadn't. It had nothing to do with you, honestly. Darth Vader, hey Lore, how far do you think Section 31 can go before you say they've gone too far? As in, what's too morally depraved or antithetical to the Federation ideals for you to support them? The entire existence of Section 31 is antithetical to everything in the Starfleet and Federation ideals. Hands down, full stop. So those are two different questions as far as I'm concerned. That said, what could they do that goes too far? The answer to that, I honestly don't know. And that's me being honest, because almost everything they do, I could see justified. I guess when they start doing things to children, like the genetic manipulation and things. But if I'm being honest there, the only reason that I have an issue with that is because I want to protect children and I'm a father. And so if I didn't have that hang up, would I have an issue with it? You know? I don't know. Michael Sue, the way to defeat Section 31 without becoming evil is to expose them to the light of day. Yeah, but that wouldn't work. And let me tell you why that wouldn't work. There's a couple of reasons that you'd have issues there. First off, Locutus of Borg can politely go to hell. After that, the citizenry of the Federation and Starfleet are so willing to accept and be happy that they're in paradise and believe whatever's been said and that everything's good and there's no issues, that exposing them would be exceedingly difficult. The second piece to that is that the Section 31 is so ingrained in Starfleet Command. They are at every level in Starfleet Command that there is no there would be no way to expose them and not get taken out or get shut down. I mean, think of everything they've done and everything they've said, right? It's intriguing to me, because they were able to commit a genocide, and they had Starfleet security in their pocket to do this, Starfleet medical in their pocket to do this, Starfleet intelligence in their pocket to do this, Starfleet tactical to do this. Andrew Close, well, I got to head out for a distant sight tomorrow early. Have a good night. Hope the show goes well. Well, thanks, Andrew. Hope you have a good night, buddy. I will read your comment. Repost it, Enderman. Hello, at Lore Reloaded. Welcome back. Thank you. Whether we like it or not, we need a Federation organization to do the dirty jobs that no one wants to do in order to protect the Federation and billions of lives. I'd agree. That's why I'd say Section 31 is necessary. Most of Section 31 is active until conflict arises, and then they get reassigned or stay at their post like Malcolm in Enterprise while carrying out operations, covert missions as needed. I would agree with that generally. Captain George, don't put Locutus as a Borg in timeout. I would agree with that generally, and that makes sense. And as you said, there's alpha canon that supports that, especially in Enterprise. I think the way I think it works is I do think that there are a couple of things to it. I do think there's some centralized networks. I think they work in cells. And I think that they probably have people who are specialized for events. I think you'll have a cell or a person specialized in Klingon affairs, specialized in Romulan affairs, internal security, and things like that. Captain George said he's joking. Okay, I was just making sure, man. But yeah, then ban him. Ban him to, just get rid of him. Gone. But I think they are specialized. In the OC, original character ship list in my fanfiction, Section 31 will still a prototype of Valdor-class Romulan ship before its activation. She'll become a Federation vessel called the USS Junebug and be completely alive, if I understand your fanfiction appropriately. Let's see. Have you read any of the beta canon Section 31 novels, Control in particular? I've the only one I read, and I was a kid when I read this, is that where it was Bashir versus Sloane, and he defeated Sloane, and then Sloane came back, and it had something to do with clones, and Sloane came back to the area, and I forget, it was so long ago. I've only read one, and I don't even remember it. Oh, by the way, cool thing, the Star Trek Apologist channel, now all of their videos are free to watch 24/7. So if you guys want to get on that deal, and in celebration of that, this channel specifically, if you subscribe here and you follow me on Twitter, you can both subscribe to this channel and follow for Twitter completely free for the next 48 hours. Starfleet would have to go against Section 31 principles and laws and such, though, from what the Kelvin timeline shows, they will have a hard time with taking them down. I agree. I don't think Section 31 could be taken down. I think in order to take Section 31 down, you'd probably have to work from within them, or Starfleet would have to drastically change the way that it works or operates. Because again, you'd have to fight them in almost a Black Ops type of way. You know, you couldn't just sit there and take it or allow it to happen, or fight with Starfleet principles. I don't think you could. I don't think they can be defeated like that. I think just like we have CIA that run Black Ops, I think Section 31 should have a group of Marines or Mako specially trained soldiers for extreme Black Ops. How do we know we don't? I think that would be intriguing. I agree. You know, if done right, I think Discovery... If done right, I think Discovery would very much be a very popular thing if expanded in Discovery. If they do it right. Now, they're not going to, because it's Star Trek Discovery. They don't do anything right. But if they had done it right. Oh, let me get on my high horse for a second. Completely unrelated. So, I did a video in my last one. I read a... Samuel Simard was free. Well, if you subscribe to my YouTube channel and you hit the bell icon, you can do all of that free today. Also, you can follow me on Twitter for free. Doesn't cost you a dime. Some people had some issues with the fact that I got upset because one of the actors, I think it was an actor, may have been someone who worked on the crew, said that they would let their kids watch Discovery. And that I shouldn't have done it because it was talking about their kids, and would I like someone talking about my kids, blah, blah, blah. Let me say this. As a parent, Star Trek Discovery is not appropriate for anyone who's not in their teens. And it is parental guidance for those who are in their teens. And if you let your kids watch Discovery and they're not on their teens... then I would disagree with that. Now, you can do what you want. I'm not saying that. You're the parent. To each their own. I don't think it's appropriate. And I'll continue to say that. I don't care who you are, what you do, or what your role is. But anyway, Locutus of Borg, it's free to subscribe and follow on Twitter. Anyway, yeah, that's the joke. Why are we having to remind each other of what jokes are? Come on, people. Come on, people. Buying Simmons Discovery is definitely PG-13. It absolutely is. Anyway. Does the Federation president know of Section 31, or does the president have no knowledge and have plausible deniability? I don't know what the president does or doesn't know. I'll be honest with you. We don't have any indication that he does know. I'll say that. We don't know that he does know. We don't have any indication at all. Anti-lore related. What? Free? I just pirate your channel. You're the reason why costs are up. You know why I have to do 100 tip goal at night? Because of people who pirate my stuff like you, anti-lore related. You're the reason. Do you think that Section 31 had anything to do with the anti-Borg warships, such as suggesting them to Starfleet Command or designing them? I actually, I get in a lot of trouble about this. I'm not convinced what's considered the anti-Borg fleet is the anti-Borg fleet. And before we get into it, I know Space Dock and Templin Institute have all said that they are. I get that. And let me say this. I think Space Dock and Templin Institute are far and above superior to this channel. That said, I'm not convinced that some of the vessels they say are anti-Borg are anti-Borg. I think when you look at timelines, it doesn't necessarily sync up. Now, what ships are anti-Borg, like the Defiant ship and others? I would say Section 31 probably had input, and they probably gave some of the newer technologies or found some of the newer technologies. I don't think they pushed for it. I think they probably just worked in the background. Shadow Wolf. I had a thought about Section 31. What if every Starfleet ship has a Section 31 subroutine that changes how the ship functions? So if need be, they can have a fleet at the ready. That's interesting. I don't know how true it is necessarily. You know, it would go along with what we see in Discovery, where the Admiral had that override, which I don't know how I feel about that. But Maybe. Or maybe they have subroutines where it reports back or whatnot. Space Doc, or I'm sorry, Locutus Borg. Space Doc videos aren't as long as Lore Reloaded or as detailed. So let me say this about Space Doc. One of the things I do, Space Doc would be considered a primary source for me. In that if I'm doing a video that I know Space Doc has done, I'll rewatch that video because I think that they add a ton of value and they give me ideas and things that I haven't thought of. And if they say something that I haven't found, God, I hate being Southern. If they say something that I have not found, generally I will try to go look it up to see where they would have gotten that source. And the things they do say are really well researched and have basis in them. Now I might disagree. I may disagree when it comes to where they got or their conclusion, but they have value in them. Ryan Conrad, how do I stop notifications for your live videos? Doesn't happen on your other ones, nor when anyone else I follow goes live. Why don't you want to watch my live stuff, Ryan? What's going on with what's going on with that, buddy? All right, all you need to do though, joking around aside, if you're subscribed, go to the little bell icon and click on that, and it should say, you may have had it set up where it does live notifications only. You want to set it up to all notifications so you get all of my videos, or if you don't want any, just put do not notify me, Ryan. That should fix it. If that doesn't, let me know and I'll tell YouTube. But yeah. In a culture of peaceful diplomats, no one likes the paranoid militant skullduggery guy. Yeah, I mean, you see that in The Next Generation. I'm glad they kind of dropped that in Deep Space Nine. By the way, guys, 83, 84 people watching, only 31 thumbs up. What is going on here? Come on, people. We need to have 84 thumbs up, or at least 84 thumbs down. Whichever you guys want to do. I don't know. I get paid the same regardless. But thumbs up. Do it. Do it. By the way, Ryan, let me know if that worked for you, man. If it didn't, I really will send it in. I mean, I'd love for you to get notifications, but if you don't want to, let me know so that I can get that taken care of for you. Do you think the idealism of Starfleet UFP makes it easy for clandestine orgs like Section 31 or the Founders to infiltrate and manipulate? I do. I do. The problem with Section 31... thank you, Rough Collies, for giving me a thumbs up. The problem, not the problem with Section 31. The problem with... the problem I have with the Starfleet and the Federation is the standards in which we're set up are easy to take advantage of. Now, the problem is that this is bad writing. Gene Roddenberry Gene Roddenberry had the idea of Star Trek, but really he never really had any control over it, especially in the original series. Interestingly enough, if you take how much the fans or audience enjoyed the episode or the movie, and episodes and movies that Gene Roddenberry had direct control over, there's a direct correlation. Everything Gene touched when it came to making an episode or a movie, people hated it. And so what happened is, in The Next Generation, Gene Roddenberry got this thrown in his lap. He didn't know The Next Generation was going to come up, and they just said, hey guys, hey Gene, we're doing this new series. Here you go. You can have creative control. And so Gene Roddenberry wanted to make this series where they had tamed the wilderness. They had advanced. It was no longer this militaristic original series BS. He didn't have to deal with any of that anymore. And so from that point, he made the first couple of seasons of The Next Generation. And he made an organization and a Starfleet that could be easily defeated by clandestine organizations. The only way they can't is through plot armor. And so, yeah, I mean, overall, again, I can't thank Gene enough for creating the universe that is Star Trek. when it comes to writing the specific episodes or stories, I don't think he does too well. Rough Call is back. My apologies, missing last stream. I hear heart out to you if you're going through some hard time. Yeah, I appreciate it. It's the best of the worst, as I've said, and I don't want to get back into it again, and I don't want to talk about it anymore. I just needed to get it out because there were people. Unfortunately, apparently, when you get to my level, even though I'm still a small YouTuber, when you get to my level, there are channels dedicated to trying to take you down or dedicated to making views off of your drama. And so I addressed it so that they didn't have any power behind it because it had finally gotten to them. I knew it would, but yeah. So the actual question, what would you think of section, and I'm not talking about Drama Alert, I'm talking about smaller channels. Keemstar doesn't care about anything. I do, because I'm not that big. What would you think of Section 31 being the villain of Season 2 of Discovery? I think that because it's Discovery, it's going to be the worst thing on the planet Earth. I think that Section 31 is going to be absolutely destroyed. It is going to be... Section 31 is going to be the Borg are to Voyager what Section 31 is going to be to Discovery. In my opinion. And I think that's exactly what's going to happen. Now, that said, if it wasn't Discovery, if it was a competent series, I think that it would have been done. I think that would be very interesting. I think that would be very. I think they could be a great villain if done right. Really. Brian Schreiner, well, F those channels. I love what you're doing. Yeah, I don't care if people talk or not. Believe it or not, there are people out there that just go at me. And delight. I won't say that. So this is getting off topic a little bit, but I don't necessarily get too upset at drama channels, or channels that try to report, or channels that are trying to tell the news. And if someone has something to say about me or whatever, I don't really care. There's a guy, I forget his channel. It's Jamal or something. He's pretty left-leaning, and he's made 2 or 3 videos specifically having a go at me. But he's always respectful. He's a good guy. I'm subscribed to his channel. But there are smaller channels that just do it. I don't care. This was just they were about to talk about my family and my personal life and what's occurred, and I needed to address that because that's an issue for me. Generally, I don't care.
What are you? A monk?
Are you a monk? Is it true Netflix stopped funding Star Trek Discovery? If CBS had to save money on episodes with $7 million a pop, season 2 will be a landfill fire. I don't know. I sincerely, I have no idea. If I'm being honest. Let's see. Can you? I don't get into the middle of that. To be honest with you, I don't know what's going on with CBS because they're trying to hide it. They say it's doing well, but it doesn't look like it is. But I don't know. Can you read more Star Trek Discovery articles in your live streams? I love your. I don't know. I thought about that, and I don't know. I might. I don't like paywall and stuff, but that goes against the lore. I mean, if you guys did super chats for it, I might. I don't know. I'm on the fence, to be honest. If it's something people really want, then I can. But let's see. So that Section 31 personal code, you could use the ship, but also have it obscure the identification, so it couldn't be traced back to any specific ship. It's possible. We don't see any justification for that, but it's possible. Section 31 should be a political group that is sort of underground but legal in the United Federation of Planets, and Section 31 is its military wing. what kind of political group would they be, though? I guess would be my question for you. What specifically? You know, what would you do? How would you? I don't know. What would they be like? I don't know. I guess the conservatives is it popular to attack conservatives and say they're all evil? So is that what should we do? Do you live in a moonshine state? I live in the great state of Tennessee. Mr. Captain 93, I enjoy Discovery. Well, that's great. In all sincerity, if you like Discovery, I'm glad. I do not. Do a stream of just you reading Discovery articles. It's hilarious. I don't know. It's got you know. I might make Discovery articles the Super Chat equivalent of Anti-Trekkers animations, where I'll read one if you guys do that. Again, it goes against what I generally do, and it really does. A lot of people, some people said, some people have said that it have questioned whether I'm being sincere when I do it, but it really does anger me to the point that I have to walk away. It just gets on my nerves. Just because I just consider them so dishonest. I just don't like dishonest people. I don't like liars. And I'm not saying that everyone's doing it. I'm not even saying it's the actors or the executives, or the low-level executives. But the high-level executives definitively lied to us about what it is, and it really annoys me. And I also don't like the fact that they go out of their way to push a political agenda that is just there to get kudos and to get attaboys and just destroys and splits our what we do, our fandom. Rough Collies rocks. No offense. I really mean it here. Okay, well, it's always good when you start out with no offense because then you're about to be offensive. But why all the hate on Discovery? Does it betray Roddenberry's rules, or is it really a bad show? If a bad show, why? It is not a... Star Trek Discovery, the concept of Star Trek Discovery is a lie. They say it's Star Trek when it's not. It's a sci-fi with a Star Trek skin. They went out of their way and lied and said that they're going to have continuity, that it's going to be a prequel, that it's not J.J. Viewers, that it's Prime. There's no way that they can do that. There's no way that it is. It has inconsistency after inconsistency. They go out of their way to push a political agenda at the expense of the lore and at the expense of the series. They care more about making a female protagonist look the best than they care about having things make sense. They show a lot of gore porn. They show a lot of people's flesh being rended. They show people's faces being melted off. They show cutting into flesh with blood pouring out. 4 episodes in a row, they showed sex. They showed breasts completely seen, a woman riding a guy. For most of the series, it was insinuated that it was sexual assault upon a male, never addressed, never acted like it was a bad thing. They push a specific political agenda that splits our fandom in two. They do it both in the show and then they do it in the background out of the show. They don't care about the people who originally they don't care about the original fans. They more care about the new people they're bringing in. And again, since they're trying to bring in a left-leaning audience, then they're going to pander to them. Now, Michael Case yells, "Oh my gosh, boobs." I don't know if you're being sarcastic here, but let me say this. Star Trek is supposed to be a lighthearted show that tries to give a positive viewpoint, but is open to all ages. Now, you can sit there and say, oh, he's being a prude if you are, and I don't know if you are, Michael Case, but some people would say, oh, you're being a prude. You'll excuse me for being surprised that a show was that originally is supposed to be for all demographics and is supposed to be for all ages, goes out of its way to be stupid mature unnecessarily. It is bad. It is bad TNA. It is a B-level bad piece of writing just put in there just so they can do it because it's not on primetime television. They do it just to do it. It adds nothing to the mythos. It adds nothing to the story. It is dumb as hell. And don't sit here and tell me that they can't do it or they can't have a good show, because they can and they do it. Here's what pisses me off, and you guys did it. You're getting me upset. Here's what pisses me off. I know Discovery has the writers who can do this, who know what they're doing, who can write an agenda, a biased political agenda-based point. I know they can do this because when you look at Stamets and you look at Culber, that's done stupid well. Culber and Stamets, their entire arc is written well. It pushes a specific agenda. It normalizes stuff. It's done well. It normalizes homosexuality. It's good. It's awesome. I'll read those in a second.
What are you? A monk?
Stamets and Culber remind me of Dax and normalizing homosexuality when I was in a strictly religious household and bringing me to concepts to consider. Stamets and Culber is done well, but this sexual assault upon males, this the unnecessary porn, the unnecessary gore porn, it's not Star Trek, or at least it wasn't what Star Trek used to be. And it adds nothing to the story. It just adds absolutely jack all to the story. I could say, hey, this is not what Star Trek used to be, but it adds something to the story. It doesn't. The Terror of Death. How are things going? Things are going well. I think Section 31 was a pretty great idea in my mind. It's stupid to think that a government like the Federation not to have a covert ops group. I would agree, again, with what they did in The Next Generation and then moving it into Deep Space Nine, especially with the war and everything in Deep Space Nine. Definitely. By the way, thank you guys so much. Again, thank you so much, Terror of Death, and thank you, Terror of Death, again, because it's the way I keep the lights on. It's the way, if you guys like this content and you want me to continue to do this and not go become a quote-unquote normie, stuff like this that helps me out. Thank you so much. Organizations like Black Order, Borg, and other groups would like to see the Federation burn. Section 31 is necessary. I agree. I think Section 31 is necessary. I think Section 31 was very well done, and again was something to something that has to be that has to exist, and I think it has to exist because the way Gene wrote The Next Generation, writing the Tal Shiar, writing these undercover movements, there's no way for them to take it on, to fight it. Okay, let's try for 7. Hey, Laura, which group do you personally believe is worse, and which would you rather have around? Oni or Section 31? Just wanting to know your opinion. Oni, for those who don't know, is from Halo, and it's Oni. Hold on. Wait for it. It stands for the Office of Naval Intelligence. Moody Dude, thanks for becoming a lore master. I don't know. I think they're both pretty similar. Honestly, I think they're both pretty similar. I don't know which one I'd want or which one I wouldn't. Both of them... We don't know enough about Section 31. I think everything Oni did, Section 31 would back or be a part of. So I think it's 6 of one, half dozen of the other. Rage Brew. Section 31 just needs to tone down the needless evil stuffs a bit. Purely pragmatic methods are very easy to be pure evil. Sure. I don't think they could do what they could do. I don't think they could do what they could do without going complete evil, though. Rough Collies rocks. In my opinion, before I go, I just want to say I come from a side that actually wants Star Trek to be dark and mature. Me and my family consider it to be the best Star Trek show ever. Okay. I'm not against dark and mature, necessarily. In fact, we've seen that happen a lot. For instance, we see it become very mature in Deep Space Nine. Voyager had some very mature things. And we also see maturity happen with, like, Batman. When people grow up with the lighthearted and they now want to take it and become dark. But here's the thing. There's a difference between being dark, and then there's a difference between putting porn on the TV. There's a difference between being dark, and there's a difference between just slicing somebody up and showing the blood. If that is dark, then you're a bad writer, in my opinion. Now, here's another thing to go with what you're saying, Rough Collies Rock. And the people who love Discovery probably are with me right now. That's fine. So, you know, I'm going to go off on Discovery because I don't like it, and because I think that they were liars, and I think that they dishonor. I don't think they can do dark well. That said, if you like it, and you like it because of the reasons I don't, that's fine. And if you think that it's Star Trek, and you call yourself a Star Trek fan, and this is Star Trek, and I like it, that's fine. I'm not even going to disagree with you. I don't believe in the no Scotsman fallacy. We'll just agree to disagree. God, I hate being Southern. We will just agree to disagree. And, you know, it's not personal. And so if you're on this and you like Discovery, like Rough Collies Rock or whatnot, and you're taking it personal, my attacks, just know that I'm attacking the show. Generally, I'm not even attacking the executives or the cast or anything like that. When you tell myths truths, I'm going to call you out on it. But for the most part, when I talk about Discovery, I'm just talking about Discovery. Now, it's hard to disseminate the work, the art from the artist. Talk to you later, Sterling. Thanks for coming by, buddy. It's hard to disseminate the art from the artist. And I get that. I really do. The art from the artist is integral. When someone, like, for instance, when Anti-Tracker goes off or attacks one of my videos, he's not attacking me, but I have to remind myself that it's not me he's attacking, it's the opinion in the art, right? And so I don't like the gore porn, I don't like the actual porn, but that's just me talking to that. It's not saying that everybody that was in it is a bad person. And so don't take it personally, and if you like Discovery, that's great.
What are you? A monk?
Did you ever watch Farscape? I did. The dark scenes in Discovery would fit there, but it does not belong in Trek. I've watched a little bit of Discovery, or a little bit of Discovery. I've watched a little bit of Farscape. It's interesting. It's hard for me to keep up with Farscape, I'll be honest with you. But you're right. Farscape was very, very dark. The Expanse is excellent, by the way. Yes, The Expanse, 100% is just wonderful writing. And yeah, I co-sign there. But I remember watching Farscape that there was one episode where they came upon another ship. Like, the ships are alive, and they have their captains or whatever. Not captains, but their navigators, their pilots that are alive. And Moya, there was a sister ship of Moya. And the crew had gone insane. It was like the Imperial crew. It was the bad guys, the Alliance crew or whatever. And they'd gone insane for whatever reason. And they... the pilot, they would chop off his arms, eat them, and then let them grow back to chop them off again. And that was... that fit with Farscape, and so I do think Discovery would have gone too. Rough College, you gotta go. Enough said. Talk to you later. Talk to you later, brother. Someone else had to go too. I forget. Someone who generally comes and watches the channel as well. But whoever had to go, talk to you later. By the way, thank you so much again. Without you guys' support, stuff like this couldn't occur. Peacekeepers, yeah, they weren't the Alliance; they were Peacekeepers. That's right; those were the bad guys. Interesting thing about the Peacekeepers too. Well, before I get into that, what is The Expanse? Is it Star Trek? The Expanse is on Amazon Prime. I do think it's also on TV. It is excellent. Please go watch The Expanse. Please, please, please watch The Expanse. What was being asked beforehand? Oh, interesting thing about the Peacekeepers. I've watched a couple... What's going on, Christy Rand? I've watched a couple of the episodes. The one thing I like about Farscape, and I could be off on this, please let me know, but it seems like the Peacekeepers have bad apples in them and possibly bad leadership. But the Peacekeepers themselves... at least started out as a good organization, or a lot of the underlings are good people just doing what they think have to be done. Almost reminds me kind of like the Empire. If I'm wrong on that, I'm happy to be wrong on that. But let me know, because it's my understanding that that's the way they were, and I like that if that's true. Will you be going to see Jurassic World? I'll probably see it on TV. I'm probably not going to watch it. I mean, another sequel, because that did so well. That did so epically well for the original Jurassic Park series. So yeah, I don't have any interest. I haven't. So The Expanse started out as a book series. I haven't seen that, or I haven't read that, but I have watched The Expanse, the series, and I absolutely love it. By the way, if you guys are watching this at the end of this video, go to my community tab, which is really easy. Just go to my channel, then go to the community tab. Right there, I'm going to be like, hey, give me some series. I'm going to put up a vote for a series that will be done in August. And I'll do a complete dedication to that series. And it'll be done on Tuesdays. Laura, got to go and have a great night. You have a good night too, Josh Street. Thanks for coming by. Peacekeepers are convinced that they are the good guys. But the question is, are they the good guys? The Terror of Death. The Axanar forever. Hashtag bring back Axanar. And yes, you were right about the Peacekeepers. Yeah. Wow, it keeps choosing that one. That's hilarious.
Monk.
Axanar, I'm a huge fan of Axanar. I think they got what they deserved. A lot of people get upset about that. I would love to see Axanar every day, all day. I wish that CBS had saw what was going on with Axanar and just taken the idea and done their own version of it. I mean, I wish they would have hired everybody that made Axanar and done it with them, but they don't have to. I think they should have just done that. No, Stripe 361, I just don't get why that monk is upset with that one. I actually have 5 different Office clips. I don't know why that one keeps coming up. And CBS didn't need to buy the rights to Axanar. Axanar was a Star Trek derivative. They had every right just to take it and do something with it. I in an ideal world, they should have taken everybody that worked on Axanar and just had them make a complete series out of that. It was excellent. It was done. It was what we would needed. It had a dark element to it. I'm going to check with Axanar, but I'd love to. What I want to start doing on Twitch is watching movies with you guys. And I think that would be a lot of fun. And I would love to watch Prelude to Axanar and us just talk through it. The actor that played General Martok did a good job on Axanar. He always does a good job. I always enjoy that actor. He always does excellent. I like Axanar a lot. What's his name? Alec Peters. I liked him as the main dude. I thought he was a good actor. I thought he looked similar to the main guy. I liked it. I don't. And I hate this because Axanar has reached out to me. The people at Axanar, Alec has reached out to me. So I'd like to see what they do with it. I just don't think we're going to get to see it. So what is the verdict on Section 31? I think we've all agreed that they're necessary and that we just have to live with that. Movie streaming with lore reloaded? Sign me up. Yeah, I mean, I need to get permission, and then I'm going to do it on Twitch. But yeah, I'd love to do that. I think that'd be fun. Really interesting. What is Axanar? I've never heard of it. Brian Schreier, what have you done with your life, dude? Hold on, 1 second. There you go. You're welcome. Go there, watch that after this. What happened to the 1 million fans donated to Axanar? Yeah, that's my issue. I think it was mismanaged from stem to stern, and I don't think they really had a lot of the rights that they did to do it. CBS overreacted, but I don't blame CBS, and I think they should have probably did a cease and desist like they beginning with. Rage Brew, BattleTech TV series, do you think it would be possible, and would you watch it? I'd probably watch the first couple episodes to see what it's like. I don't think there is enough interest in BattleTech right now to have its own series, if I'm being honest. By the way, I'm going to turn this on. Let me know if it's too much noise. I'll say this. I enjoy doing BattleTech, and I intend to finish up the Star League. And I know there's a lot of people who are thirsty for BattleTech. By the way, let me know if that's too loud, guys. I know there's a lot of people who are thirsty for BattleTech, and I'll continue to do it because it's what the fans want. But there isn't a ton of interest right now specific to the lore and specific to a TV series. And so I don't think a BattleTech TV series would do that well. And that's a shame, because I think BattleTech could be very interesting. Trivia. The actor who played the bad guy, Scorpius, on Farscape is the same guy who played Governor Tarkin in Star Wars 3? I did not know that. I'm not... Yeah, sci-fi, sit down, relax on that. Let's not get too, especially if you're being asked to drop it. So that is something. Knight Sword, becoming a lore master, that is something that will shut down if you're harassing somebody. So let's drop it. Did you hear about Star Wars Theory's $1 million Vader fan film? Did you hear about Star Wars Theory's $1 million fan film? I did not. I'm surprised Star Wars would allow that. I know they're a little bit more open, but I'm surprised they would have allowed that, to be honest with you. Unfortunately, the actor who plays the Klingon commander in Axanar died recently. Oh, really? That's unfortunate. At Lore Reloaded, off-topic question. What do you think of Star Trek Online's Victory's Life expansion? Well, I'll say this. I am doing a, tomorrow... Not tomorrow, because that's, Captain George. Thursday, I think we should be having on the one of the devs from Cryptic to talk about it. I like it for the most part. I think it is held back by some of the limitations that we see with Star Trek Online itself, and there are some things that are kind of don't make sense that you should know, but they kind of try to have to explain it to you. But overall, I like it. I think it's pretty good. So yeah. I could have sworn you retweeted the Vader fan film. I may have, Captain George. I retweet quite a few things. And I generally will forget everything I've retweeted. Yup. Alright, we're going to be ending it pretty soon. I really never understood why some companies are so tight-fisted to fan-made stuff. If they are doing it for no profit, simply because they love the thing, free advertising is free. Yeah, but Axanar is as far away from that as it can be. It wasn't no profit. It wasn't simply for the love, and they were doing it to build their own IP. So, yeah. CBS overreacts a lot. That CBS has stolen thousands of dollars from me. They continue to steal thousands of dollars from me. I make them quite a bit of money off of something that is so fair use. It's not. It's stupid. Do you ever think we will see an episode where Section 31, they are definitely the good guys and help without doing something most would find evil? No. I don't. Surprised a studio doesn't make a deal to help with a fan film, but all profits are to the studio. I think there have been instances where that's happened. But you have to deal... There's a lot of... The way intellectual property works and the way copyright can work, you have to be very, very careful with that. Because if you let someone do it and you don't go after them, it can open it up for others to do it. So if someone does it in good faith and you let them get away with it, somebody doing it in bad faith might be able to get away with it. And yeah, definitely hit the like or dislike. I don't care. Hit one of them. I think that's probably where we're going to be ending it, guys. Yeah, I think we're going to end it there. So I want to thank you guys so much for watching. I'm going to try to do at least 4 or 5 more live streams. Next week, I'm going on vacation. Taking my kids on vacation. I absolutely need it. You'll still be getting all of the videos that you get right now. They'll just be preloaded, but I won't be doing any live streams. Next week, I'm going to need your help. I want you to rewatch playlists and rewatch videos for me. Since I'm not doing live streams, I'm going to take a hit. And so if you guys do that, I would appreciate it. With that, guys, I want to thank you so much for watching. Don't forget to rate, comment, and subscribe, and I'm going to see you on the next Lore Reloaded. All right, coming back because I got a thing. There it is right there. Personally, instead of a Battletech cartoon, I'd love to see a reboot or sequel to Exo Squad, if anyone remembers it. I do remember it. In fact, if you guys watch SF Debris, he does a breakdown of the Exo Squad. So you guys definitely should check that out. Faux show. Okay, now I really am outie. Unless I get another thing that I can come back to. See you guys later.